Greetings, all protocol observed. My name is Caroline Maitobi. I'm an attorney at law with Marin Company and the Executive Director of the Institute for Small Islands. What to say in 3 minutes? Systemic justice, systemic change for me is about systemic justice. It's about access to justice. As a environmental justice and indigenous rights lawyer, I have working with clients across the world, from the Amazon to the Greater Caribbean to Kenya, Uganda to Australia and the Pacific, and I've advised small island developing states and least developed countries at the UNFCCC for the last decade or so. And for me, it's access to knowledge about who you are and the rights that you have, what protects you as a plural society. I'm speaking very strictly from my knowledge, not for everybody else, and just my field. How do I see systemic change happening? It's very hard to get justice as an indigenous person. It's very hard to get knowledge up until right now as an indigenous person. Freedom of information has been invaluable. But what I think we need to start understanding is that they are plural societies, and they need to understand that, we need to understand that, and so that takes a lot of epistemological shifts. And I think the world is trying to resist those epistemological shifts right now. And I think as a steward of culture and education, this is an excellent place to start with addressing those shifts. Now, what we have been doing at the Institute for Small Islands is creating councils, creating models, creating structures, not just for justice, but for language retention, cultural retention, and entrepreneurship, as well as these trainings on negotiations and fellowships and trainings on negotiations. And so we're taking indigenous peoples to the UN, to the MRIP, Expert Mechanism on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples in Switzerland next month. Taking a cohort of mid-professional lawyers, well, not just lawyers, but leaders, to train them on what to expect, because the top really does, the top-down, the hierarchy of the top-down really affecting the grassroots is quite profound. The grassroots needs to be able to reach back up and speak, so it's quite ridiculous at the institute that the indigenous peoples have no seat at the table at the UNFCCC negotiations, and that's where I used to advise, where for the last decade or so, where the small island developing states and least developed countries don't always, now it's different, but in the past they haven't always known what was available to them. And this is the situation that I'm seeing now with indigenous people. So small islands have rallied through AOSIS, through linking each other, through CARICOM, and they have, use that regional clout, that regional pull to get together. I think indigenous peoples need to do that and conceive of their own bodies and their own structures without the top down. And we need more. My former director used to say the UN was the only donkey getting us there. We need more donkeys getting us there. It can't be the only bloated bureaucratic body there. It's doing important work. It needs to function. So we need to understand the world as being multi-plural, yes, but not in a contentious way necessarily. We need to be able to come together fairly, equitably, truly equitably to speak, because ignoring the ICJ and dancing in and out of the UNFCCC is no longer an option if we're going to be serious about regional and world peace. It's not possible. Thank you very much.